Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for an exciting 12 days together around the British Isles? Oh no, it's much more exciting than that. Are you ready for an exciting voyage in the next 12 days? Well, we're excited to have you on board.
My name is Lorraine Weimer-Skirch, and I am the cruise director here on board the Seven Seas Grandeur, and my last name has German heritage, and it is Weimer-Skirch in American, or in German it'd be Weimar-Kirche, and that the last part of that means church, and Weimar is the town, so it's the defenders of the church of the town of Weimar.
It's 9 o'clock on Saturday. The Regent crowd travels in.
Day begins in a misty rain in the town of Falmouth, England, in Cornwall. Falmouth means at the mouth of the Foul River, F-A-U-L. The first activity is to take a small ferry to St Mawes for cream tea. So the tour goes from Falmouth across the bay to St Mawes. And how we're going to get Janice down to that ferry, I have no idea. And the ferry is £15 round trip. It's a little tricky to get off the boat and onto the steps.
So there's quite a few steps.
And your timetable is... And this is the town of St Mawes, Cornwall. Very, very pretty town. And this is a panoramic view of St. Mawes. So this is a typical little beach where the smugglers would land and to drop off goods to avoid the British taxes. This is where the British revenue agents would wait to look for smugglers coming into the cove, catch them, either hung or sent to Australia, rarely, mainly hung. And it's noon and time to head home, and there's our ferry boat. It's hard to believe Janice could go down the stairs to get to that boat. Janice climbed up about 20 feet. Now we leave Falmouth and head back to the cruise ship and launch a very intriguing excursion with Janice. Next up on Thursday, the captain's welcome cocktail event.
Our Escape to the Isles cruise together as we make our way around the United Kingdom. And it's an exciting voyage that we're going to have together, and I certainly hope you're going to enjoy each and every day. But the gentleman who takes us on that wonderful journey is the master of this beautiful vessel. It's my privilege at this time to welcome to the stage and introduce to you the master of the Seven Seas Grandeur, your captain, Captain Luciano Montesanto.
Good evening, buonasera, and welcome aboard the Seven Seas Grandeur. As Lorraine mentioned, my name is Luciano Montesanto.
Looks like we're almost in Bantry, at least where we're going to anchor in Bantry. And with the tender off, we are docked at Bantry Bay, and that's where the tender takes you to. It'll be a lovely day to take a tender into the town. Tying the tender to Bantry Bay. We are off. I am in Bantry Bay, Ireland, Cork County. And here is the downtown area, Main Street. I asked some locals what off-license means, and it means you can take the liquor out of the location. You don't have to drink it there. Here's a menu, all in euros. After a quick look-see around Bantry Bay, as the rain is just thinking about starting to drip, it's back to the ship. As we say goodbye to Bantry Bay and start a day at sea. Day 5, we approach Dublin, and there's the outer lighthouse. On the TV, we can actually see where we are. as we approach Dublin. We're going to be anchoring off of Dunlegur, about a 45-minute drive from Dublin. Oh, hello, Dunleary. Now we go to the top-tier private function.
May of soul she sailed on a day over the sea to sky. Give me again all that was there. Give me the sunshine.
Day 6 of the cruise on a sunny day. It's sort of warm, finds us coming into the harbor of Belfast, Northern Ireland on a Monday. And there's the terminal we'll be docked at in Belfast. We're now going to look at the outside of the Parliament building on our tour. This is the Parliament building, built in the 1930s when Britain created Northern Ireland. The 6 columns represent the 6 counties of Northern Ireland. And this is the view of Belfast from the Parliament building. This is Queen's University of Belfast. This section of Belfast, the signs are also in both English and Irish.
Communities who are at each other's throats. During the period 1968 to 1975, 25,000 houses were destroyed because people were burning each other out of communities they had lived in for many, many years. And they were fleeing to the perceived safety of their own original community. They're going to be signing the wall because this is something that follows in the footsteps of the Dalai Lama.
Is a close-up of the Peace Wall, and it is traditional because the Dalai Lama did it to sign your name to the Peace Wall. And there's my signature.
Of an horrific period of tit-for-tat killings between the two communities. Really horrible times.
This is the Belfast City Hall, where your birth, marriage, and when you are kicked into the ditch, you have to come in here and record it. This is the most photographed street in the city of Belfast, Commercial Court. This is street dining in Belfast. With a look at the tilting clock, that ends our adventures in Belfast. Day 7, Liverpool. Very warm and sunny day. Probably won't need the jacket. This is Museum Row. All the museums are free. So with the names of various books, we have the library. This is Liverpool's Chinatown.
Dragons on it. This is the typical style. 4 floors, 4 stories, with the big sash windows, so the big sort of vertical windows open up and down. That's really typical of the style. They quite often have a basement level.
There's Penny Lane from the Beatles song, Penny Lane.
We're driving on it now. It's actually got a little link to music history, actually.
Penny Lane, there is a barber showing photographs of every head he's had the pleasure to know.
Shortly.
Statue of John Lennon.
And
looking at the waterfront in Liverpool in the distance, we will proceed into the 4th largest cathedral in the world. The door is only open for royalty, so we have to use a small entrance on the side. The cathedral is huge. Hear the great organ. So this is the choir of Liverpool Cathedral. Paul McCarthy, Beatle fame, applied to be in the choir and was rejected. So let's take a quick stroll through downtown Liverpool. This is the Sailors' Church. Once upon a time, say certainly until the Second World War, Liverpool was one of the largest ports on the planet. Now, Liverpool was the 2nd most bombed city after London during the Second World War, but a lot of buildings survived. This is why today Liverpool is a blend of this limestone Georgian architecture buildings, much more modern buildings. Let's pretend here in Liverpool the year is 19. She would have stood at the entrance to the Cunard building, and this is where people went to purchase their tickets, a 3rd-class ticket, steerage, for the voyage from Liverpool to New York. She would not have stood at the White Star Line building about a block away, because that's where the wealthy went on such ships as the Titanic. When money was an issue, you went to the Cunard building and their ships. You would have bought her tickets and walked through this building to the third class waiting area in the basement. So as we pull away from Liverpool, there's a wind farm out in the Irish Sea. And now we are heading north next to Glasgow. We sightsee a 12th century cathedral, but it wasn't destroyed by Henry VIII. And this is the inside. And there are lots of people buried in this cathedral, including St Mungo, who founded the cathedral in the 1100s. Tours are semi-handicap accessible. Well, they are handicap accessible. The drivers take the walker and puts it in the bus. We're now inside the museum. Total open photography. This is the most famous picture inside the museum. This place is just huge, and it has lots of weird things in it. And this are the Hall of Heads. This is the most famous painting. And here is the second most famous picture, a Rembrandt. This is deck 3, where you board and go through security. We have a very long journey today to Ullapool in northern Scotland, so we board at 3:30 and take off at 4. Almost 2:15. The first of the afternoon games, followed by the one at 3:15. Playing some weird game, which I have no idea what it is, but you get a minimum number of points always for playing. Sometimes 1, 2, or even 3 points for just playing. Hey! Wow. Janice is going for her second round, 0.
Very good.
Hey. A win. That's what a win looks like. 3 Regent Reward 7 Seas Grandeur points. Wednesday evening continues as we sail to Ullapool, Scotland, with the Seven Seas Society party. Very pretty ice sculptures.
Anybody know where we're going tomorrow? What's it called? Ullapool. Ullapool. Even the Brits don't know where Ullapool is. I thought it was a scouser with a speech infection. Not a speech infection, I'll completely mess that joke up. So, speech impediment, that's what I meant. Really thought, Ullapool. Anyway, so, good evening. People coming in late, how are you? Anything I can get you? Like a watch?
Thursday, 19 June, the 9th day of the cruise, brings us to the town no one in England, and even no Scot has ever heard of, Ullapool, Scotland. It's an outline of the town, and that's how far away the ship is, about a 10-minute tender ride. And a ring of stores around the tender port. This is a Highland Coo, C-O-O, not C-O-W. Here we are in the town of Dornock. Founded in the 800s, but really rebuilt in the 1800s. Good signage, beautiful limestone buildings. This is the cathedral of the town. So with the tender returning to the ship, I think we'll call it a day for day 11. Tomorrow, day 12, is a day at sea, the second to last day of the cruise, and we'll see what sort of fun is available on the ship at a sea day. The day at sea really starts at 10 a.m. with a lecture.
Not so much where they went and what they did, but who they were. You recognise this? Child's drawing of a longship, or maybe mine, I'm not admitting to anything. It's about right.
These are the performers, and we're going to do a backstage tour in a moment.
Or 2 months in rehearsal and 5.5 months on board. And we do not carry anybody on the ship that can fill in for a significant injury, something that's going to be out of time for a long time.
On board the Grandeur. So I went to Tampa for 2 months and I basically learned every track in the show, that's all the boys and all the girls. So in the rehearsals, where obviously it's everyday long rehearsals, people did get hurt, people did get sick. So I'd basically be there to stand in for that. And then
Part of our job here on Regent is actually to also be your entertainments team. So we sign the contract knowing that we are going to play the games and do trivia. So that's part of the reason why we actually do have an interview process. Most ships with singers and dancers will not.
Opera houses in Europe, the Metropolitan, so they have very high expectations of you all. I'm just letting you know.
The women's dressing room.
Out on it. So like for opening costume, gloves.
This is the male dressing room. These are the games. There's axe throw, which we have not played this time. Live music at the pool. This beautiful tapestry that I see every time I go up and down the elevator. Well, we did get all the Mensa questions, so now we're on to team trivia. This is the name of our team. We have specialized in third place in team trivia.
Hey, are we ready for some fun trivia? So I'll reiterate some rules before we start. So there's no cheating with the trivia. It's simply fun trivia. And I know cheating is fun. Question 1. What is the capital city of Canada? Who wrote the play Romeo and Juliet?
Or what is acrophobia a fear of? Heights.
It's time to go cash out your prizes, and the lines are long. So here are the prizes. Monday morning, 5 a.m. We are approaching Southampton and the end of the cruise. It has been a really interesting cruise around England clockwise. Final checkout. The luggage pickup went very smoothly. Now we take a tour of the city of Winchester. And because it's named Chester in the name, it's a former Roman fort. The Romans left in 410 AD, then came the Anglo-Saxons from Denmark, came the Vikings around 700 AD. Then King Alfred, an Anglo-Saxon, kept the Vikings out of Winchester in southwest England and made Winchester a royal city and got the nickname the Great for defeating the Vikings. This is the house that Jane Austen died in 1817.
Now, one of the interesting things...
Jane was buried in Winchester Cathedral, is buried in Winchester Cathedral. This is the house where Jane Austen lived, but her doctor owned it, so she died in her doctor's house. Looking up High Street, a lot of coffee shops on this street. Every fourth store.